If you love honey, you're going to love this. If you love Trump and you want to support the J6 Defendants and Freedom Express Media, here is a great way for you to do all of those things at one time and get to squeeze Trump. Who doesn't want to squeeze Trump? Everybody wants to give Trump a squeeze. So go to makehoneygreatagain.com. When you get here to this page, put in promo code 3J6ers, apply. This will not give you a discount, but what this does will allow you to be able to, it will allot 25% of the proceeds of every sale to go back towards the J6 Defendants, and 25% of the sale will come back to Freedom Express Media and allow us to be able to continue to bring you the news and the current events that are taking place in our country. Thank you, and God bless.
TK, I just want to thank you so much for coming here. I hope you allow us to do this again. We've got so many people still requesting, and I want to apologize to anybody that didn't get called on. There's been so much interest. But TK, I want to tell you, I think we're probably 75% in agreement on things. There's a few things that are going to hit a raw nerve on our side. As when you say put it behind you, I understand why you feel that way. But if you look at people over here who are still having people arrested to this day, how can we put it behind us when they're still ruining lives over it, you know? So, but I think your heart's in the right place. I think our heart's in the right place. And I think we could have some conversations like this and get closer than that 75% or so. It's just different understandings from different viewpoints. And when you've got a good heart, you can meet up there. So I just want to tell you, I think that you are so brave to be here. I appreciate you so much. And then we've had some other people waiting a long time, so I'll end it right there with my thanks to you.
And you're welcome, Mel. And yes, this is very good, and I'm glad I did this today. Thank you for Shelly for staying on me, because Shelly and Shelly was aggressive too, because she wouldn't let me off the hook, because I had so much other stuff, and I got so many other interview requests, so it's hard, but Shelly stayed on me, and I made it a point. I was like, I want to get Shelly in, and I'm glad I did this, and thank you.
But I was nice, and I gave you space. We had some great phone conversations.
Shelly, you text me more than my wife did.
Oh, well, it's been
but I'm glad, though. I'm glad.
Well, you know what? I think, with all of us together, we can really do some great things and hopefully stop the arrests. With that, let's keep going. We've got Freedom. We've got Chaz. We have Kimberly. We have Suzanne. And then I brought up Dan. And then after that, you guys, we'll have to save it for the next space. So go ahead, Freedom.
Thank you. So I'm actually just live streaming this, and my viewers had a few questions if we got just a minute. First, I want to say thank you, Tarik, for bringing a different perspective for lots of different people to be able to just look at this from a different view, and hopefully bring people together and just see things in a different light. I think you're doing a great thing, and I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Earlier, you mentioned about a female in Unit 2. Do you remember that, and what her name was and who she answers to?
Yogananda Pittman is Unit 2. So when you listen to the radio transmissions, whenever you hear Unit 2, that is Yogananda Pittman, and she answers to one person, and that would have been Stephen's son at the time. But he got fired 2 days later.
Thank you. I thought that's what had been said, but I just had a viewer that wanted to confirm that. Just real quick. So now I know that there was a lot of people there that day. So I don't know from if you were aware of how big that day was going to be, but the question that I got for you from one of my viewers, what did you expect that day with hundreds of thousands of people were coming to the Capitol to have their voices, to voice their grievances? Did you have any warning or knowledge as to the fact that this was going to be so large?
Absolutely not. We were basically told it was going to be a nothing day. I planned on leaving early that day. I was going to leave probably around 12 or 1. I was going to try to sweet talk my boss because I was having back pain. And I was going to try to see if I could leave early because it was going to be a nothing day. And as far as, I think the intel was like low for, for pretty much for anything. So no, nothing was expected. We did no briefings the day before, no intel reports that said that we need to be ready, nothing. It wasn't an all hands on deck event. And when I say it wasn't all hands on deck, my wife, who was at home, who was a Capitol Police officer, and she was at home watching on television because they gave her the day off and she didn't even have to use leave. So like she was just at home and basically on a standby in case something happens, but go ahead and stay home and relax. So when I tell you we expected nothing, so around 1 o'clock, I called my wife and I said, "Hey, are you looking at television? Are you seeing what's going on here at the Capitol?" And I was like, she was like, then she turned the TV on. An hour later, I called her back to say goodbye because I said, I didn't know. I said, the Capitol's been breached. This is what I said to her. I believe I was on the second floor, center side of the Capitol. And I said that the Capitol's breached. I don't know if I'm getting out of this, but I love you and I love Angela and goodbye. And I wasn't, I was like, if I died that day, I just wanted her to know that I knew it was coming. But I could have got out of the building. I know the building super well. I could have got out, but I was going down on my officers. Not Yolanda Pittman. She was going to just watch the officers go down. But then, like I said, I encountered, there's so much I want to tell the community. Like, I have hours to speak about this, and the stuff is on camera. Like, I ran into demonstrators in the building. So I was like, are they going to try to kill me? And they walked past me. So I was like, oh God, thank God, because I was outnumbered. So I went over the radio. So no, everybody there wasn't there to try to kill officers or whatever. Some committed violence, yes, but not everybody was there. I think the overall event was people wanting to support the president. And then you had some people who were there who weren't intending to commit violence, but not everybody there. So the long and short of it is this. All of us on the ground was set up that day. All of us. And we should not be fighting. Now, the only thing we should be doing, and this should be after we deal with Yogananda Pittman and J. Thomas Manger, is to look at what happened to the people on the ground and then see who deserves what after we deal with Pittman and Manger.
Okay. Yeah, one more quick question and I'll be done with you. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. I think this is really helpful to a lot of people from a lot of different sides. I think what you're doing is great. One more question that one of my viewers has. Were you afraid that by putting on the MAGA hat that the other officers would turn on you since it appeared to be the Capitol Police versus the MAGA group, or what is your perspective on that?
Okay, now, no. Actually, repeat that one more time. I just want to make sure I'm answering the question right.
So were you afraid that by putting the MAGA hat on that the other officers would possibly turn on you since it appeared to be the Capitol Police versus the MAGA, or what was your perspective on that? Did it make you fear that maybe they might think that you were trying to help the opposite side, or anything like that?
I didn't, obviously now, because the Capitol Police leadership, but they did it by design. They wanted to make me out to be that, so officers would villainize me. But anybody who knows me knows that they would know why. Like the average, there were about 2,000 officers there. I don't know all 2,000, but any officer that knew me for the most part would say if he had that hat on, he had it on for a reason. Now, I just I didn't have any helmet, I didn't have a gas mask, so the hat was basically so I could get through the crowd. And yes, some officers were upset that I had the hat on because two officers tried to take the hat off my head, and I got the hat back and I basically said, I need this hat so I could get through the crowd. So that was my goal. But yeah, so there are some officers that it didn't matter why I wore the hat. They probably hate my guts. It is what it is. And I will tell those officers this right now, that everything I did on January 6th, I would do again. The only regret that I have is that I didn't have two hats, because I would have wore one with the bill facing forward and the other bill facing backwards. But no, I do not regret anything that I did on January 6th, because my goal was to get my officers out of harm's way. Because even till today, and I'm going to really get into this later, but because I'm ready to dive into this, but I can't dive into it because it's going to bring new villains into this. But I want to focus on the main villain right now because time is of an essence. The other villains that I'm going to be discussing at a later date, what they did is already what they've done. There's no statute of limitations that's going to run out on like it is what Manger is doing. So I'll talk about those people later. But Manger right now is number one. So that's why I don't really want to divulge or dive into the MAGA hat. That's why, like, if you look at most of my interviews, I don't talk much about that. I don't talk about the Oath Keepers, but I can talk about any issue. I feel comfortable talking about anything. I'm not afraid to talk about anything. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's bad. But I am going to speak about the Oath Keepers in depth when I do my own show. So, because I have a lot that I want to say, but I can't do that because if I do that now and I start diving into all those other things, then I am hurting the people that are in jail. I'm hurting the 140 officers that got hurt. I'm hurting the 9 people that died that day, and I'm hurting the people's families, their families, and demonstrators committed suicide. I'm hearing, and I'm hurting their families if I talk about the MAGA hat moving the officer situation. I can't let Manger off the hook to hurt everybody else by let Pittman just walk away to the sunset and him running the clock out on everybody else. And every day Manger's in that seat, you can add another day to an innocent person being in jail. You can add another day to the statute of limitations running out on people civil liability claims. And like I said, it's not all about money, but the people should have the option if they want to, and don't let Manger take it away from you.
Thank you so much, TK. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, maybe sometime we can get a chance to speak again. Maybe you can send me a message or something. But I really appreciate you doing this. I think that you're bringing a lot of awareness to a lot of different aspects and allowing people to see things from a different side. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Anytime, sir.
Freedom, thank you so much for being here and speaking. Thank you for streaming it. I have a little bit of breaking news real quick, guys. I got a message from one of our great J6ers who has, it's breaking that Ray Epps is saying, and it's in his court paperwork for the Fox News website. He says that he is finally going to be criminally charged for J6. He's got it in his paperwork for Fox News. It looks like he's had 2.5 months of a courteous notice from the Department of Justice. So it looks like he is going to be charged, but he is one of the probably only lucky ones that doesn't get his front gate bulldozed down or his house doesn't get broken into. And well, you know why, you guys? Because he's living in a motorhome. Yep, he's living in a motorhome. That's why. Anyways, I'm sorry for that. I just wanted to throw that out there for everybody to know. And thank you to the wonderful individual who's a part of our J6 community that is always listening in. I appreciate you sending me that message. It's good to know. Be looking forward to that mugshot. With that, Chaz, let's round it up real quick. We've got
If you love honey, you're going to love this. If you love Trump and you want to support the J6 Defendants and Freedom Express Media, here is a great way for you to do all of those things at one time and get to squeeze Trump. Who doesn't want to squeeze Trump? Everybody wants to give Trump a squeeze. So go to makehoney.greatagain.com. When you get here to this page, put in promo code FreeJ6ers, apply. This will not give you a discount, but what this does will allow you to be able to, it will allot 25% of the proceeds of every sale to go back towards the J6 Defendants, and 25% of the sale will come back to Freedom Express Media and allow us to be able to continue to bring you the news and the current events that are taking place in our country. Thank you, and God